Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Howler or Yowler for an hour. This is me, Nikki the Gnocomodox again, standing in for Charum, and Tucker normally does, but I'm taking over for this one. We played a cat game before this, and now we're playing a rat game. I do think I'd enjoy watching these morsels run around a bit, so I figured I'd participate for this one. This is Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter. You might remember this. Charm played the prequel to this, the first game, for a stream about 2 years back. It was at Howler as well. And then Charm played it for a couple more streams, because it was a very good game, and she played the whole thing through. Basically what we have here is a 2D Souls-like, where you play a rat, fighting a bunch of other creatures. It's a fair bit grisly, but very atmospheric. At least, that's how the first game was. It does appear that this sequel is more or less holding to the same torch as the first, but with new content, a further north setting, which gives it a icy, wintry sort of vibe. Very Nordic, I'd say. There are new enemy types. The first game had frogs. This one seems to have a focus of bats being the main antagonists. And it simply looks like a more of the same, and not in a bad way. A more polished experience. That's what it appears to be. We're going to find out today if that's the case, though. In any case, before we begin, if you liked the video, think about giving a like. Think about subscribing if you'd like to help in that way. But if you'd like to help in another way, think about coming over to Twitch, as it's always nice to have more people to talk to. And you can add to that conversation. We also have a Discord server. There's a coffee link if you want to help directly monetize content. And a merch store exists if you wish to buy some cool little things. Links all in description, as usual. We also have Chris Savs hanging out for now.
Hey, join us!
Yes, of course. Thanks again for the co-op on the previous game, and you're certainly welcome to keep commentating on this one as well. If this is as good as the first game, this will probably have more than just a part 1. This is probably going to be a part 1 if this is a good game, that is to say. We will see if it is or not. But I have high hopes for this. The first game was very atmospheric, so I'm going to keep the volume a little bit loud. I think it's good where it is right now, but let me know how it is as we go. But, with that being said, let's see what the story is for Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter. Fairy Tale, Tales of Iron, or Bloody Whisker? I think Charm chose the normal difficulty with the first game, so I'll stay to that myself. Can't say I played a Souls-like myself. Though it might be more accurate to call this more of a Salt and Sanctuary-like, given its style. If you know that game, anyways.
In the north, they thought they knew all there was to know of war. Until the War of the Rift. While the Southern King hid, warm in his keep, the Darkwings cut their bloody trail from frozen north to winter's edge. Alone, the Warden and his small garrison turned their whiskers to the icy wind. At the end of hope, in a last barrage, they wiped Batkind from the land and memory. With no sign of the Darkwing's return, in time, few believed them little more than a fairy's tale. But at Mount Cauldron, time had been all they needed. An old enemy claws free of their icy tomb and hungers for vengeance. But not all is lost. King Rattus brings north a cause for hope. A bastard prince, placed in the paws of the Warden of the Wastes to raise as his own. A secret of blood never to be told. Now, fate calls for a hero in a murderous screech. And one young rat will answer.
Quite epic. Yes, Vossen, the course seems to be the same, but it would hopefully expand. Though even just more the same would be a good time, I believe. We'll see. Yes, I believe outside of the narrator. Yes, just like the first game, everyone talks in pictures. The sun rises. You must put on your clothes.
The stomp of his father's boots on the stair was how every morning began for Arlo. The booming shout to ready himself was louder still. But such was Lord Eivor's zeal at a new day. Dawn was breaking over winter's edge, and Arlo was yet to miss one.
Press RB to change the inventory. So, we have resistances and weights. Let's see here. Armor, helmet, cuirass, pauldron, and shield. Weapons, one-handed currently. Items, nothing to note yet. Let's see here. Oh, we have options right off the bat. Thin leather bandana studded with fragments of bone, or a simple leather band with iron studs. One provides more resistance. Less poison resistance, more electric resistance. Combined stats for Arlo's armor. The resistance stat is the amount of damage Arlo's armor absorbs. Weight stat represents how heavy armor's combined armor is. This effect is a roll. Some armors have elemental stats that offer resistance to that specific element. Alright, -8 on poison is quite a low value, but this would cause -5 and less resistance. I suppose we'll go... this is actually heavier? Is that right? Strange that the headband is heavier than the thing with fragments of bone in it, but alright. I'll try to go lighter if I can. And here we have bone fragment shoulder guard, lightweight enough for little protection. Iron armor, balance of light defense while allowing the wearer to be nimble. I guess I'll go bone armor. But that would destroy my poison resistance, wouldn't it? Yes, slightly. It seems the light armor just absolutely destroys your poison stat. At least the starting one does. But it is the lighter armor. And a shield that actually gives electric protection. The weight's the same. I'll take the electric protection. -41 poison. I'm sure that won't bite me later. One-handed. Dull iron axe or dull iron sword? Let's go axe. I might want a heavy weapon but light armor. Let's try that. So we have quests. For now, just the intro. We have a page for that. And here's our map. And a world map as well. Outpost marking the northern edge of the Ratdom, ancestral seat of the Warden of the Wastes. Humble compared to the pomp of the Crimson Keep in the south, its high walls offer shelter from the wind and protection from many enemies. Winter's Edge. Fair enough. And the guards are outside? Killing bugs or something? Alright then. Well, we'll see what that means. Is everything running alright for you guys? Your character already has a beard. We are northern mice. We need some extra fur, I suppose.
The castle echoed with the horns of the returning hunters, bringing their night's bounty. Arlo's little heart quickened to hear it. The only thrill to be found inside the high walls was a hunter's tales of what lay beyond them.
So let's see here. We can jump. We can do a little dash. We can... I think Y is for items. Quick attack with right button, I assume. Right trigger doesn't do anything currently. Oh, we could do a charge attack that does a leap by holding down the right button. And there's my shield. Left trigger. Alright. Now, one thing the original game did very well was its artwork, its sound design, all very immaculate. There's a lot of random NPC mice, especially in the settlements, that are just doing random little things, like having a beer. There's going to be a lot of little details you can watch if you pay attention. Most likely. I think it's rather charming that everyone talks in pictures, too.
Arlo tells himself it's a good life here in Winter's Edge. The bustling of contented rat folk, the crisp mountain air, and without the endless scourge of frogs the southerners suffer. Why should he want for more?
Those southerners, I think, were the ones handling the first game's situations.
Chief Mason Leaf was the rat Arlo most admired. As younger brother to Lord Eivor, his carefree uncle never faced the burden of being Warden of the Wastes. With walls this strong, his duties were light, leaving him plenty of time for his nephew.
To answer the question, by the way, Deer was wondering... Deer said earlier, salt and what? So that raises the question, who here knows what I mean when I say that this is a Sultan Sanctuary-like? Who here knows of Sultan Sanctuary? It had a sequel as well, Sultan Sacrifice. They were rather big-name games for indie games. I believe they had PlayStation exclusive status for a while because of how good they were. In any case, what I'm describing by saying that is a 2D Souls-like. That is essentially the mold that Sultan Sanctuary started itself, I would say.
Crunk was a rat's rat, with no interests beyond his forge. If you have the parts, this Mastercraft's rat can make armor and weapons that would see off a sky scorcher bite, or so he claims. Arlo wondered how well they'd do against something that wasn't a myth.
I could also sprint with the... by pressing in the left analog. Well, the spark of the anvil goes in front of my character. They're working on my armor, I guess. Yes, the sequel is Sultan Sacrifice. It was... I believe the first game was not PlayStation exclusive, but the second was. And it was exclusive for so long that if you... I guess if you weren't on PlayStation, you wouldn't have easily as known about it for a while. I think it did release on PC eventually, but it took a while. Free armor upgrades, always nice. I'm going to ask you, audience, I'd like your interaction a bit on this one. What do you think of the art style? It does look rather nice. It feels like an approachable, almost... these thick outlines and such, kind of comic bookish a little bit. But also not quite that at the same time.
A little bit. Like it's comic book from Darkest Dungeon. I don't know.
That's it. It does look like Darkest Dungeon. Honestly, not a terrible comparison, because while this game is cute and charming, it can also be brutal and bloody, so... This game will be graphic, keep that in mind, if the intro didn't tell you that already.
Arlo has no memory of his mother, but Hilda's food was a true taste of maternal kindness.
But
With the
Redwall,
right
yes.
ingredients, she would make meals nourishing to body and soul.
2D Dark Souls Redwall sort of is a mashup of things you could say about this. And wasn't Redwall itself a bit graphic and bloody at times? Wasn't it fairly mature at times? I think it took its concepts fairly seriously.
Tiki's shop was perhaps Arlo's favorite, as the shopkeeper had wares from far and wide. But getting him to part with his curiosities was never easy.
Okay, we appreciate that every rat has a different voice, so to speak. slightly more accurate for a Middle Ages art reserve. Yes, it has a bit of a Middle Age vibe to the visuals as well. Good point. Also, you may notice in the background here, we have other species, such as, here's their cows! It seems to be a bug of an udder.
There was no time for tales of the hunt today. Lord Eivor was already dividing what was an excellent haul, happy to see his people provided for. Arlo longed only to join the hunt, to see the ratdom or even the lands beyond. His father called it a fool's wish. Arlo's destiny was unshakable, much like the keep that would become his by birthright.
So we have here multiple... We have the blacksmith, the builder, food, and, well, shopkeeper. Ah, there's a bestiary. That's interesting. We'll see how that goes. I assume the first game had that too. Also, since you can't see this unless I disable my picture... Ah, yes, there's a button for that, isn't there? Isn't this one? Yes, there we are. So you can see my total weight down there. If I increase it far enough, it'll go from light to medium to heavy, I assume? We're going to try to stay light. Ah, yes, there's little arrows letting me know where it changes. I suppose seeing that I have plenty of room... Let's equip this. It's a little heavier and I lose some electric, but... that makes my poison less dreadful. My poison stat. I suppose this as well. I'm still very far away from medium weight. I like that. Let's do that. Don't remember a bestiary in the first. I don't remember if it was there or not either. This was 2 years ago that Charm played the first one. I have shared knowledge of what Charm does, but it's not direct knowledge. I don't even know if Charm would remember at this point. I think I was told to trade. Proof of delivery for the goods given to the shop. Hopefully remember that. Remember when it comes time to trade. Ah, I see. We're giving off items to people. Yes, because we have a few, don't we? Key items here. Goods receipts for the shop, construction materials, Smith's blueprint. We're an errand boy, nothing more. That's fine, though. Alright, Vossen, thank you. Ah, yes, meals. Meals were a part of the first game as well. I don't recall what buffs they gave, but we can make this one. And the beetroot stew, it looks like. Or just root stew, really. Receipt for the cooking ingredients given to the chef. A good warden never gets the kitchen supplies run. Oh. What did food play as a role in the first game? Was it a temporary buff or something that gave you a permanent buff? I can't recall. See for the lumber. And one over to the blacksmith, I suppose. 4 mills that gave you a permanent health increase. That's right, yes, mills were important. They weren't just temporary. They gave you a definitive added bonus. I have 30 money. Oh, we can make a spear. Well, presumably. Yes, we have the materials to make... Interesting. Iron, bone, or wood could be crafted right now. So one would presume they have different... Yes, I see. The iron spear seems to be focused purely on damage. But actually, the bone spear does slightly more damage and has electric. That makes it sound better, then. The wood spear gives poison. I see. The Iron Spear's level 1 is not really any better than the bone or wood for base damage, but it seems if you stay with iron and upgrade it further, it will become the most powerful in base damage. Well, the others have other attributes. Electric and poison. I wonder what those do. Poison, I think I can predict. I poke something and it starts taking poison damage over time. Perhaps if I add enough to their poison bar, if they have one. As for electric, I feel like that would cause a stun or something. It appears I have a choice here. Do I prefer to go for raw damage? Do I prefer electric, or do I prefer poison? It seems, yes, the swords work the same way. And I presume the axes as well. I'm feeling as if sword is going to be your basic damage, basic speed. Axe is going to be slower but heavier damage, and spear will be... I was going to say the weakest, probably, but... Iron Sword level 3 is a total of 85 damage. How about the spear? Yes, 65. So it is the weaker of the options. And the axe? 105. It is the strongest, as I figured. So the spear will be the least damage, but probably be the safest. That being said, I'm interested in damage, so... Axe. The question is... I really wish I knew what electric and poison did. Is there some way to look... Is there some way to... Can I mouse over it, perhaps? Let's see. It doesn't appear. And again, the same applies to the helmets. There's a base one that adds the most... Yep, adds the most resistance. Yes. And then there's one that gives electric resistance, and then there's one that gives poison resistance. At the cost of fire and electric, it looks like. So there's an ebb and flow here. Electric, poison, and base. Well, I'm already stuck with a choice here. But I don't know what choice I'm making. Let me look it up. So I actually am making an educated decision. I would prefer if the game told me what electric and poison damage did. Were they just elements or do they have another effect, you know? Let's see here. Lawson, did electric and poison exist in the first game? Ah, yes, there is a Tales of Iron wiki. Good. Let's see here. Electric and poison as status effects or damage effects. I'm being told to craft something. I have a choice of crafting a poison weapon, an electric weapon, or a weapon that focuses on base damage. I would like to know what these do before I make my choice. Poison seems somewhat straightforward, but I'm not sure about electric. Well, I suppose these are common resources. I'll probably get more if I don't like my decision. Let's go with... No, what do I currently have for my current axe? I forget. Well, regardless. I think I am actually wielding the iron axe. Let's make... Electric, why not? Since I don't know what it does, let's just make it. Ah, I can also make the... You know what? Let's make one of both. Why not? Actually... Poison Spear. Defensive poke, let them poison out from there. That seems good. Thinking about it, if I want to use each class of weapon, I could have focused an element to each one. Perhaps in the future what I'll do is an electric sword, a base damage axe, and a poisonous spear. Eventually, I assume I could probably gather the whole set. So it doesn't really matter. Well, now I have weapons of all sorts, so we can test out what that does. What's this? Ah, an hunter cap. Sure, let's put it on. Hunter armor. I see, it's all very
The
light.
hunters had brought unwelcome news. A family of the reviled creatures ratfolk called backstabbers had moved into the wastes. Eivor told his son to fetch his weapons.
Backstabbers? They don't sound pleasant. The outskirts. Home to Mossbug, a small farming village under the protection of the Warden of the Wastes. These lush fields grow food enjoyed all across all the north, and Winter's Edge most of all. Ah, large area. I do like how the map segments are like scraps of paper. Now, I am curious, though. I feel like I should try to balance my defenses. Right now we have no... Having no weakness to poison does seem beneficial, doesn't it? I guess the light armor has less debuffs. So, less defense, but you're not getting debuffed with elements. Fair enough. I welcome the idea of poison being its own type of weapon. Yes. They didn't let me back out until I blacksmithed away, though. I wish I could have made an informed decision before doing that. Or maybe backed out and just not done it. I had other weapons, after all. Benches are save points, I believe. Very Hollow Knight. Loading bar mouse is cute. I'm going to start by using an electric weapon so I can get an idea of what it does. No going this way? Alright. What's this? Some tin ore.
His father had no explanation for suddenly taking Arlo on a hunt. It even gave the hunters pause. Arlo had been taught to fight, and better than most. But rarely had he been tested. He was determined to prove himself. The rugged terrain of the outskirts could have taken all day to traverse, but Arlo's trusty grappling hook allowed him to swing between its many crevices.
Ah. I don't believe the first game had a grappling hook. I'm not certain, though. Oh, that falls far enough to hurt us, I just realized. What if I... If you slide down the wall and drop carefully, you don't take damage. That's good, though. I think that's a one-way blockade. Recalling for the first game. I must break it for the other side. backstabber. This rabbit creature uses the quills that run the length of its back and can be fired to defend itself. When curled into a ball, it is able to move at blistering speed to attack its foes. Strength against electric, weak against poison. Ah. So we have an elemental weakness system. And resistance system. So some weapons will do better than others. Which I guess means... electric will not be effective on this one. But I'd want to know what the effect does, so I'm still sticking with that.
Arlo liked the feel of a sharp axe cutting through the vines. The wilds were part of his home, and nothing in them would frighten him.
Money.
The famous frostberry bushes of the wastes were in full fruit already. Their juice made a healthy tonic, though Lord Eivor preferred them fermented.
Fermented. The bitch does not make you heal. Healing is done through your Estus flask. You see there, I have it filled. Ah! Right, I think that's how the first game worked,
His
too.
father was a sturdy rat, built for strength, not speed. So Arlo found it curious that he challenged him to a race.
A race? I wasn't aware.
The prospect of the hunt had filled Lord Eivor with a vigor that his son had not seen in years. Or at least since breakfast.
Never mind, I've already lost. Anyways, back to the point I was trying to make. You can drink as long as you're holding down Y. You can let go any time, so you can do little bits of healing. You're not stuck in an animation. But it also means that it takes a bit to heal. Fair trade.
A warden fights the hardest battles, he told Arlo, and needs the sharpest blade. With that, Eivor gifted Arlo his own sharpening whetstone.
I think I lost the race, but to be fair, the narrator took his time letting me know that Dad ran off because he was racing. By the time I learned I was racing, he was already long gone.
Where?
Quick select, alright. Key items, crafting, and the food. Ah yes, so weapons can dull over time? This tutorial is very forceful. It doesn't let me back out until I do something. Arlo's weapon sharpness meter. When active, it provides a buff to weapon damage. Attacking with a weapon reduces the bar. When depleted, the weapon's damage returns to normal. I believe this was in the first game.
Whether these beasts were named for their spines, or for some past unforgivable deed, no rat knew. Either way, Arlo was about to find himself at the pointy ends of this brood. Even young backstabber red attacks were brutal. But a well-timed dodge would see Arlo escape unscathed.
Red attacks cannot be guarded. I think we see the resistance in effect. There's a down arrow, which indicates I'm not doing much. So 16 damage in that situation. If I switch to what they're weak to... This is a different type of weapon, mind you. Actually, let's switch to just basic axe, because it has similar damage to what I'm using. If a resistance was 16 damage, how much is this? Good question. Oh, it's dead.
This
and I buried it into the ground.
Its name with its deadly white attack.
We'll have a new porcupine cropped in
Arlo's
another
block
winter.
The deadly spikes.
Well then. That's blockable. 25. I assume 16 is probably still a defensive number this other species has. Seems there's multiple porcupine types. Alright. Let's make sure. 16. Yeah, so it looks like resistances add quite a bit of resistance. Noteworthy. And there's different killing animations for each
This young
type.
one used vicious yellow attacks.
Each type of weapon.
Arlo had to time his parries perfectly.
So if there's no color, you can block at any time. If yellow, it must be timed. And then if it's red, that means dodge it. I understand.
This mother had left her young to fight alone, but the same could not be said of Lord Eivor as he leapt to his son's side.
And now this one's combining all the attacks, which makes sense.
It was Lord Eivor's mighty blade that took her head, but the fight was won together.
There we are. No head for you. Old hunter's sword. Makeshift sword gets the job done. I suppose. Nearly died, but I waited at the end. This is a more narratively satisfying tutorial, yes. So it seems elements are quite important. Can I go up there? Let's see. Oh, yes I can. Fortunately, I just have a random shovel, it seems. Ah, an old hunter's axe. Hunter's shield. Well, looks rather neat. Sure, let's put it on. Well, good news. I was planning on making an electric axe, but I didn't do so. Fun enough, because I just found one. That works out. Well, this axe looks rather neat, since it's using porcupine quills. Ah! If you simply do a power attack, you do a leap. But if I do a weak attack and then a power attack, it's sort of an uppercut. It seems that light, heavy also is a combo. Good to know.
Arlo basked in his father's pride, almost as warm as at the fire inside Winter's Edge.
So it does seem you can stop fall damage by sliding down a wall. Makes sense. I imagine that only works for short walls, though. If it's a long drop, I doubt that'll help. More character development. Yes, I agree. I don't remember who... I would like to know I don't remember who Reggie and Dennis is. Reggie was the main character the last game, yes? I don't remember Dennis. The loading screen is rather cute. The warrior brother of Reggie. Ah.
Triumphant and keen to tell the tale of his
The bigger
son's
brother.
victories, Lord Eivor set to
Yep.
a night of drinking with the elders.
Ship coming in. They seem a mite drunk. Either that or it's time to put on your classic 3D glasses to see a three-dimensional image. Kinda looks like that effect, doesn't it? Oh yes, the room's tilting.
Arlo
Amusing.
was reluctant to return to his bed, wondering how long he must wait to hunt again. The booming footsteps that woke him this time were nothing like those of his father.
Can't have an RPG with everything being hunky-dory, can you? That's effectively, I would say a Souls-like this is an RPG. An action RPG. Oh, electric damage, Do I immediately get a bestiary entry on these? Yes. Bat Feral. Why let a good soldier stay dead when they can be recalled by the bad necromancers and enslaved corpse? Fair point. Strengths against ice, weakness against fire. How many elements are there, I wonder? Well, given they don't have any resistance or weakness to what I'm using, I'll stay with the Hunter's Axe for now. Oh, they froze me! I guess they have the Elder Device as well. That worked out. Yes, the main antagonist of this game. The first game they were frogs. This time we have vampire bats given the fangs. I presume I cannot go over there.
He had found his father. The Warden stood alone, holding back a whole Dark Wing army, their cruel Count Kazakh leading them. His father charged, but the Dark Wing Count was as fast as he was strong. The Winter's crown tumbled to Arlo's feet.
Is there one playing a
Now,
guitar?
without a head to rest on.
Alright then, they're rocking out.
There was no time to grieve his father, as from above the Count revealed his greatest weapon, a Sky Scorcher. Not a fairy's tale, but an undead beast whose very breath could level kingdoms. And its eye was trained on Arlo. All that came
Yes, there's
next
just
was
a rock
fog
guitar
of
playing.
bloodlust, snapping jaws,
Well.
and the beating of leathery wings. But
I feel like
there
that fight could have been
be
won.
No
Oh
Maybe.
dear.
Arlo
I don't know how one would dodge that attack, though. That didn't look
to his father's
blockable.
shouts.
Maybe.
Only he wasn't in bed. The warmth was from the fire that had engulfed Winter's Edge, and the shouts were his uncle's.
I mean, every attack is blockable unless there is the red marks.
That's true. I should have been able to block that then, perhaps.
He'd seen villagers.
But wasn't there red marks before I did that?
Arlo knew it was up to him to make them safe.
It's probably one of those Dark Souls fights you could win at the beginning if you're very careful.
Yeah.
Paradoxically, it's one of those fights you can win at the beginning if you are already experienced with the game. Shard axe. Well, they do not like fire. Sure, we'll put it on. Charred sword. For one less damage, the extra speed might be worth it. That is, of course, assuming that it has extra speed. Ah! All that armor I was spending time gathering seems to be gone now. This is what we have left. Alright, then. And our health bar is not looking the best. The death metal band was a bit unexpected, but kind of amusing. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a few other rather large, unique-looking bats in the background. I wonder if that was a bit of a preview of some of the bosses for the future. Maybe the lieutenants of this bat army? It just occurred to me, does this game even have a stamina bar? I guess it doesn't, does it?
I remember having, but maybe it's only on combat, maybe?
Oh. Sorry, I was looting the barrels while you were dying. How are you doing? Well, you're dead, alright.
To just lie down.
That was very sad. They made a sad whimper and then died.
He'd know these anywhere. Krunk's smithy hammer and Hilda's chef's knife. Arlo wondered why they would leave them here.
They like their ice elements, don't they? Technically, one can also dodge a blockable attack. Sometimes. Black to you too. Basic rat helm. Doesn't hurt to have it, I suppose. Ice resistance seems good against these. So yes, these are ice users, these bats. At least these ones. That seems to be their focus. I suppose that makes sense, because I think they come from the far, far north. There's no stamina bar in this game, most likely, because there wasn't in the last game. Smith and the chef get actual names in this game. It is nice to see a little backstory, yes. For all the different characters that matter. Shard spear. Good, I'll store that. Actually... Ah, this is open now. No, it isn't. There's just a new skeleton here. Alright, I don't see no reason not to. We're scavenging for broken down, but still somewhat functional armor at this point, so... Oh no! That's an interesting move. Good, I finally went through a battle without taking a hit for once. Ice resistance, always want that. Always want that. At least for right now.
With the attack at Winter's Edge, no hunters had come to check their traps. Arlo thought he might find a use for them.
Fire trap. Are the hunters trying to capture things or barbecue them early? Fire trap. Traps wraps into flame if these steps too near. Scorches all in its range. A zap trap. Okay. Another whetstone. Yes, how is my weapon doing? I actually don't see the status on it right now. I suppose that means it's not sharp. That would make sense, given I salvaged this weapon. I see these exclamation marks might get a bit annoying. I'll switch you back to the axe. I don't think it's any slower, really, than the sword. Ah, that's right. I guess that would be in the items, wouldn't it? So... place and use, I suppose. Enemies seem a little more involved in terms of strategy. Yes, they seem to have a good amount of complexity. Ah, I see. I was wondering why I was having trouble getting off the bench. The reason? You have to press specifically left or right to get off the bench. I was pressing everything but that. Oh great, the death metal's back. Emphasis on death.
Arlo had found the reason his friends had fled. The taunting shrieks revealed that this was Baron Frostovic, son of the Darkwing who took his father, and therefore a perfect target for his revenge.
Ah, but it is good to block rather than dodge the blockable attacks, because there's a small stun when you do. That was quite a good stun, actually. Oh no, poison. That was also a stun. I didn't expect that out of poison. Well, that was a bad combo. I guess I'll go for the archer first next time. I have to say, I wasn't expecting rock metal while I was fighting bosses. The status effects are quite rough. That's convenient. I should have gotten hit by that, but I was in an assassination animation. Well, that block didn't work out. And neither did that hill. Things move very quick in this game. I think the problem is when I take out my shield, there's actually a moment where you have to, well, take it out. Yeah, that went poorly for me. If I block at the last second, I do stun them. That's encouraged for that reason. Like that. It's a matter of getting the timing down, I suppose. Lessons learned, Archer first. There, that's much better. There we go! I wanted to parry that aerial attack. That was unfortunate. Ah! I thought I was just out of range of that. Tricky. The first boss is certainly trial by fire, I'd say. I did notice a few things, though. It's still too early. Parrying is really the name of the game here, isn't it? Oh, I can parry that attack too? I didn't even know that. That's a little harder to time because there's no warning signal. The axe's base lunge is always a knockback, which seems quite good. Perhaps when he's flying, it's not best to be in the center, given the red attack. I do recover healing juice as I fight, at least. I'm not sure how that hit him, but I'll take it. Well, that didn't work out. That stab came faster than my attack somehow. Bugger. Well, I suppose that doesn't hit the exact middle of the screen every time. I was in the corner and still got hit. Good to know. That means the best course of action is probably to dodge underneath that. Go underneath him when he does it. Okay, in that case I should stick underneath him, I suppose. Can't imagine how this would be on hard. That's too late. The timing is quite tight on getting the parry. That was too early. I'm just trying to practice it now. Too early doesn't hurt me, but it also doesn't give me an opportunity. When low health, the zombie vampire bats attack very aggressively. It's not best to stand next to them, unless you're killing them. That was strange. I blocked that. I guess once again it didn't pull out fast enough. It's weird. I feel like I should have recovered some juice by now. Okay, that was a little less expected. Note, he can follow up the red attack with another red attack.
Mm-hmm.
This is quite challenging. Either that or I suck a lot. I can't tell which. Not a lot of room for error, I feel. Quite insane given how long I've actually been playing. I'm not sure how that worked, but I'll take it. I rolled too early, but it worked out. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get around that. There just doesn't seem to be enough time to dodge. Well. I'm not sure what happens. Like, when he's doing the aerial dive bomb, I must dodge. He then follows it up with another one. Perhaps on the second one I should try running away from him? But on the first one I should run towards him? Not sure.
Don't think you can reach the in time.
This is remarkably difficult for a first boss. Well, I suppose the porcupine was the first boss. A failed parry doesn't hurt me, at least.
As long as you're blocking.
It occurs to me, perhaps if I simply took my time on rolling through the dive bomb, I might be safer. I think I can touch him during that as long as I'm rolling. Perhaps I'm a little too scared of the attack. I don't think I should have hit him with that, but I'll take it. He got hit by the lingering hitbox. I'll take the cheap benefit there. Why not?
Yeah. So they should start doing double dashing now.
Yes, I tried practicing what I said, but it didn't work. That didn't work either. That didn't work either. Dead. That attack is very vicious. It doesn't look like I can roll through it. Or if I can, I don't understand the timing. Let's try something. This is a good time to find out if I'm right about something. Is the sword better or worse? Let's see if I can manage a bit faster damage with it. It has less damage, but if it's faster, it might work out. That remains a very nasty attack, really. Well, that's unfortunate. I made contact, but it didn't count because he hit me first. Oh, start with the bites? How cheeky. Doesn't usually. They keep rolling into each other. I was trying to roll away and he just kept going the same direction. Like there. Leap seems like I could go over my head very easily, doesn't it? Sometimes it's best to wait for their move. I just realized, if I parry that first charge, he might be on the ground and unable to use the other attacks. The bite catches me off guard because there's no tell for it. Better. Q. Whoops. That was not best. Not dead yet, I guess. If I keep him in the right position, I don't think he can do the dive bomb. Oh, alright. Oh, that's unfortunate. While the yellow attack can be blocked without a parry, you're then led into an attack you can't dodge if you fail to parry it. I was stunned and got hit by the other strike. Well, got past the bats phase, I suppose.
Yep.
Well, that riding the big bat, I suppose. I think they're both bats, which makes this a bit odd, really, when you think about it more. Oops, I wasn't paying attention. Unfortunately, when you reach the phase point where he brings ads, you can't do any more damage to him at that point. Which I do find unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped there. I feel like I did stop his dive bombs, though, didn't I, that one time? By simply being in a position where he couldn't use them. I guess that's the key. That's unfortunate. I say that a lot, don't I? Oh, turned around on me. Dodged! He's being slippery. Yeah, see there? He wanted to do the dive bomb, but I didn't let him. You could see how he was trying to reposition to do it. Uh-oh. I guess I gave him too much distance. It really is best to stay underneath them, I suppose. I wish I could do damage when the phase transition happens. It's a little annoying I can't get in some extra hits, though. I should have rolled to the right there. Thought he would turn around. That was a fast counter. He's very quick at those stabs. You have to be careful. Was that a weird double stab? What was that about? How is he missing those? You know, spears are kind of a scary weapon for the first boss to have, too. Yeah, there's that. Oh, he doesn't stop. He just keeps going and going as long as you're disadvantaged. I think it might be best to roll the hook to his backside each time. Except for during that. Finally!
Hey.
His foe was beaten, but seeing what had been inflicted on Hilda
Good
and
job.
Krunk, Arlo's need for vengeance was only growing.
Either a difficult game or I suck, I can't tell which. Probably more the former. I could have learned it a bit faster, perhaps, but... there's a lot there that could go wrong, so... last phase isn't so bad, it's more getting to it. I finally was good enough to get to the title drop. Good.
Arlo suddenly wished to be within the walls of Winter's Edge, to hear the boot and boom of his father at dawn, a sound
That
he
shit.
realized he'd never hear again. He needed to return to whatever was left and make his plan.
Just difficult, like... it's now just difficult. Very, like I said, it's a Souls-like. But it's also, but... my goodness, slow down. You might not mess up your smelling if you take your time. But I understand. Lots of materials. What's the map say to do now? Back to town. Oh, before that. Oh, you're fine, Solid. You're fine. Hard one, but I did it. Oh, there is something. No, there isn't anything here. Thought I might see if there's new enemies to fight or in this little side area. Doesn't seem it. Krunk and Hilda were the ones that died there. Alas, poor Krunk, we hardly knew ye. So one thing to note, too, is that the first game barely had any music except for during boss fights, and during them, there was usually frogs in the background playing tribal drums or such. I guess the bats have the same practice, but they have guitarists. Alright. Oops, I placed a trap by accident. There, just to make sure nobody attacks from the left, I suppose. Ah. The video feed blanked out there for a moment. I think this game does something odd with transitioning areas, causing a video channel to change briefly.
Spent from his journey, Arlo fell into his father's chair, the one thing still standing in the ashy ruin. It was his chair now. along with the title of Warden of the Wastes. Arlo's shoulders slumped at the weight of it, but only for a moment. The Dark Wings had nearly scorched the ratdom to ash before, and now it was for him to stop them. He was going to rebuild Winter's Edge, a beacon of hope from which to drive back the shadow.
Main quest. Recruit Chef and Smith. Yeah, since we lost ours. Night Eyes of the Golden Forest and the Rift. So 2 areas to go to. Are these the rewards I'll get for completion? Alright. Chef first.
This much Arlo knew. No rat would rebuild Winter's Edge on an empty stomach. The kitchen had to be fixed and stocked. Leaf suggested Arlo visit the Night Eyes of the Golden Forest, known for their hearty food. Arlo hoped rat wasn't the key ingredient.
There's a pirate here.
The smoke had attracted help in the unlikely form of a pirate.
A pirate?
Captain Blacktail had seen many towns razed in his years, usually by his own paw. A fact he chose not to mention as he offered his services.
314.
The ship King Rattus's Revenge would take the young warden wherever he had need to go.
Okay, so this is a straight-up pirate that has raised towns, but seeing the mess here, he's like, I think I'll help out here. I didn't get to raise this one. That's unfair.
Let me rebuild, like, help him rebuild it so it can.
It'd be no fun. What if he was in the area, what if he was coming over to pillage, and it's like, well, now there's nothing to pillage, let me help him rebuild it. I'm a little curious of something. So I can't go over there still. If I go back to the boss area, will I have different enemies to fight? I was curious. One way to find out. Not that there's no experience in this game, as far as I can tell. Killing enemies is good for their items, but not for any sort of XP. Items to stay alive. Yes, you do want to fight things so they don't kill you. That's another key detail of fighting. The things are very quiet here. Alright. Aside from Zolan and Vasan, I encourage the rest of the audience to comment. What do they feel about things so far? Sorry it took me so long to kill a single boss, but... To be fair, that was difficult. The enemy was, by and large... There was many periods of time where I couldn't hurt it, and I had to wait. Both because it was airborne, and also because it entered into the, it's time for me to do an animation to fly away, so other enemies fight. I guess let's use the pirate services. But yes, I find this fun. Just difficult. The Golden Forest. Tall silver-boughed birches with a bright canopy of gold and crimson. The forest has been tended for generations by the stoic Night-Eye Owl folk of the north. Balance of peace or ballad above all else in the village of Nestminster, which offers a sense of tranquility found in few places in the Random. Alright. An extra ping to the server to help people come by. I could ping the server. but I think it's a
The
little late for
autumnal
that.
gold canopy glimmered in the sunlight, held high by the silver boughs. There was no denying the wonder of the golden forest.
Ah, good point, Chrysovs. Let me do that. It would have been better to ping when I switched games, not right now. It would be nice. I'm sure pinging might get a bit more attention, but it feels a little lacking to ping when we're maybe an hour or an hour and a half away from completion of the stream. So a little too late, unfortunately. Though if you want to invite people yourself, feel free. I just don't want to bother the entire server for another hour of gameplay. Let's see here. There it is. I believe this is what I need to select to move. There we are.
Thanks.
That's much better. There, line it up right with the health juice. So, next area then. Acclaimed. Of course, the 1-5 the pirate guy here was pretty much their only influence on that game. Bloody Whiskers update arena. Did Charm play the... Yes, that's right. The first game had a few little content updates. Did Charm play them all? I don't remember. I see those people peeking around there.
The peace Arlo found beneath the leaves was not to last. A shrill cry cut through the calm, a call for help.
Is this an enemy, or...?
The hoots came from inside
Yes.
the bug farm, along with a stench of pond scum and villainy.
I'll be right back.
Frog trap.
Alright. Lots of frogs, huh? Ouch. Well, they seem weak to they seem to not like fire either, so. Ah, good, more archers. Oh, and they have a nice little headbutt, too. So turning into night, that's interesting. Oh, what was that? He just grapple attack. There we are. Troke iron, huh? Their own metal, I suppose.
Grateful for her rescue, Erica the Ranger offered to guide Arlo to the hidden village of Nestminster.
Oh, shot the bell. I feel as if we're going to get a bow here, perhaps. Yeah, it would. Why not? Weak against fire and ice. I suppose fire seems to be the best weapon type so far.
Nestminster's entrance was guarded. Under their helmet, the eyes of the guards seemed to glow. Was he prey walking into a hunter's camp?
Well, we were invited in after saving someone. I think we'll be fine. I believe these are still wait a minute. No, they aren't. That one was a bird as well. So these must be owl people, then. Interesting. I'm sure we can get a bow. I'd imagine. I think the first game had a bow.
Arlo could not help but gasp at the sight. He had never seen a place so ornately crafted. It was nothing like the cold stone of home.
I'd like to note, if you listen carefully, listen to the bridge. There's a melodic value to this place. I like it. Easter-style frogs. Yes, they were a little bit, weren't they?
The Parliament was deep in session when Erica and Arlo entered. The Night-Eye elders listened, still as statues, to the pleading of a chef whose daughter Frey was missing. Erica threw herself forward, proclaiming she would rescue the chef's daughter and needed no help. Then she was gone, leaving Arlo to face the elders alone. The elders' staring eyes unnerved Arlo, but when they asked him to protect Erica, he did not refuse.
I'm amused by the fact that the chef came over to plead for his case amongst his court here. But the chef brought his meat cleaver so that everyone knew that he was a chef, I suppose. I don't know if you really should bring your meat cleaver into basically a courthouse, but alright.
Frey's father told them she wanted fish for a new soup recipe. He told her never to go to the dangerous Moonlight Pond, but she was stubborn as she was brave. The
Poison
chef handed
antidote.
Arlo a few poison antidotes, without explanation. Arlo wondered what could go in soup that would have him so scared.
It could be what's around the soup, or what's around the things that can go in the soup. Poison potions. Alright, I understand. We want to worry about our poison resistance here, don't we? Let's see, then. Yes, yes, exclamation marks. You can go away. Oh, ranged option. Oh, apparently I got a love bow at some point. Decorated in symbols of love. What is this, Cupid? Let's see. Ah, good. We are starting to get non-broken weapons. The charred weapons are basically a tier below what we started the game with, so... Suppose this electric sword would be fine for now. Poison bog? Oh, maybe. If we're unlucky. Not a smith. Let's see. The love bow seems It is Cupid's bow. It says so right there. I wonder what its purpose is. It seems to be a weaker iron bow right now. I presume later on it might have more of a purpose. For now, I guess I'll make an iron bow, since it's just better. Well, it's heavier, but... eh. Ah, crossbows are available. As well as guns. Oh, well then, fine. That's very high damage. Iron gun, please. Yes, indeed, I got a bow. Let me immediately replace it with a gun. And a bone crossbow, why not? Just to have it. I'm hesitant to craft anything, because I know that we can acquire some of these items just out and about. Another small problem is when you craft a weapon, it doesn't tell you I already have one or not. I just have to remember what I have, you see. So let's see. When it comes to axes, what am I lacking? Basically anything that's a decent axe. Got it. I suppose I could craft an electric bone axe. Why not? Iron gun, bone axe, that seems good. Let's go with that setup for now. You discovered I've had some old civilization to do it. Does it imply this takes place after that game? Chronologically. No, I can choose time of day I want to wake up. Interesting. Also, our snoring sound is a flute. That's adorable. I wonder what time of day affects. There's 3 times a day. Or 4, rather. Yeah, and we can purchase items here. Al armor. Al weaponry. Very lightweight. And these appear to be cosmetics we can purchase for our keep, I believe. And a blueprint to unlock the owl line of weapons and armors. Tempting. Why not? Then I can buy them there later. This might seem strange, but I think I'll just buy cosmetics and forage for weapons for now. The weapons don't seem necessarily better than what I'm using, just different. Which is fine. Indeed, Voss. I'm also liking the general design of the area. So if I need arrows to shoot, well, my bow...
Erica said they must be as stealthy as the owls of old. She gave him a bow carved from the silver boughs. quiet as a whisper and deadly as a talon.
And this is exactly why I'm not purchasing weapons and such. I could have bought the natural elbow just a moment ago, but she handed me a free one. I don't think I want to buy equipment right now. Also, no thank you. I'd like the... Is there a... Do I need bullets? I assume I need bullets. Or... Looking at the icon in the upper left, which is actually behind Krasov's head. I have to move down further, I suppose.
Wait.
That's kind of funny.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll move it again after something else unlocks underneath that. But here we are, and you can see my ammo now. I believe that icon indicates arrows and bullets, so... Yes, I can replenish... So when I receive any sort of ammo, it generically covers the ammo type as a whole. Alright then. In that case, yes, why not do gun? It does more damage than the arrows do. By a long margin, I believe? Let's see, what was it? Okay. The best bow so far is 21 damage. Crossbow is 19. Gun is 40. It is the heaviest. But I think that's worth it. No entry. Alright. We can't go visit the statue over there. Oh, that's what I was getting confused by. So you know how I can jump? If I push against a wall, I can't jump. So if you need to jump a little wall like this, don't touch the edge of it, or you just can't. You must back up a bit and try again. That's a bit odd, isn't it? I was wondering why I couldn't jump sometimes. That was quite a few ores. So stream goers, aside from the 3 already talked. Oh. The moment I said that, an ad break.
Oh no.
I'll wait.
A white feather. Erica knew it was Frey's. They were on the right path.
Look at the background. There's a snake. Concerning. The gun is good. I mean, I have limited ammo, but here's the thing. I shot 5 arrows, murdered them. I just got 3 arrows back by looting them. I think the gun is good, especially early on. It feels like too much damage at this stage. Anyhow, now that the ad's about over. Wow, look at this bench. This owl is not amused by you sitting on it. So, anyhow. I wanted to ask, now that the ad has decided not to interrupt me. Streamgoers, aside from Boston and Chris and Parker, what are you guys feeling about this game right now? I expected that to break. So these are ambushes. I can't. My character cannot attack them early. I have to wait for them to ambush
scouting
me.
party squatted in
Amusing.
the mushroom farm. Arlo's arrows would make swift work of them.
Yes, my arrows, my gun arrows especially, will make swift work of them.
The farmers emerged, shaken but grateful. Arlo had never met stripe snouts before. Badger brothers Marco and Lorenzo's keen eyes had seen Frey go by, headed for the pond.
I got every arrow back but one that I spent in that fight. Yes, I mean, bullet. I do think the guns are a bit good. Maybe too good. At least right now. Badgers. So the owls are flutes, we are squeaky things, and the badgers are rabid animal noises, I suppose. I like that. Oh, an egg. I can buy a farmer card. From a set of cards used by druids to divine the will they to arms, the farmer card represents endurance, growth, and patience. Okay.
The farmer card. What it lacks in power, it makes up for in its positive qualities.
What does that mean, exactly? It's a key item. What is it for? Mushrooms. What's this? A locked door that requires a key. I suppose he doesn't want to sell the egg. I've replaced all my ammo. Wow. Alright. Oh yes, I'm not exactly complaining about having too good a weapon. Its damage will probably balance out later. Natural wood shield. I suppose. That actually worked. I avoided fall damage by grabbing another ledge and dropping. I didn't think that would work. Oh, I can idle. And farm wood. Well, alright then, I'll buy the food. I'll get a bite of food then. Well, if you want wood, you could just do this and go get some... Go AFK for a while. I will say that Arlo isn't terribly good at this, though. He cuts 3 pieces of wood and gets 1. The first 2 cuts must have really splintered the wood each time. Moonlight Pond.
Moonlight Pond, Frey was already preparing to leave. Her hunt, it seemed, was not done. With a hoot about an egg, she was gone.
Yes, we saw an egg. Still can't purchase it. Basement key. Thanks, I suppose? Oh yes, the gun could be much better later.
The sky flashed with a blinding light. Suddenly, towering before him stood an imposing figure, his flaming sword heating the air around Arlo. Thrusting his sword into the air, the stranger imparted his gift onto the young Warden.
Oh, we have fire now. Magic! Was that a system before? I don't recall. Shield plus Y, I believe. It seems we can only use it so often.
Arlo could feel the stranger's gift pulsing through his body, filling him with a burning desire to avenge his father and rid the North of the Darkwing scum.
Curious. Some sort of deity, then. We shot a fireball, but I don't... It's strange, I don't... Oh, I see. I finally found it. It's in the lower right. But when it's grayed out, it's almost invisible. Do you see it there? The top of the diamonds. That's where the spell is kept. I see. That's why it's on Y. It's very grayed out when it's grayed out. I barely even noticed it.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Tunnels are rarely used by Night Eyes, who prefer an open sky above. Arlo knew dangerous creatures lurked in such dark places.
There we go. Hello, Red. I skipped right past that. What was that? Well, if it was a new piece of something, it would be a flashing exclamation. Oh well. Probably some crafting material. There's a lot of those. Emerald. Nothing here, for the moment. Hello, Red. Nikki, Zola, AJ, and Chris Oz. Chris is here as well. I don't know about anyone else, though. Nobody else is, really speaking besides those groups. Okay.
Where?
Hey, boss. Anyways, it's over now. The gun is a little good. That had health bar, presumably it had mechanics, but I just shot it. Wish I had this for the bat earlier. Maybe I could have shot it in the sky. Oh, you're fine, Red. Well, time to hack and chop at bugs, much like the first game. I recall Beerus loved that. It's very strange how you can't jump while against a wall. Missing a skull. Well, I wish folks would do more than lurk. I mean, people are certainly entitled to lurk. But it is nice to have more people willing to talk as well. Ah, that's what that's for. Just a shortcut. That hook seems oddly placed. Ah, the bulls, speaking of which. I guess this does take place after the first game, because the bulls are more integrated into society and such. Rough Death March helm, crafted from the tough carapace of the Death March. The helm is sure to withstand a few blows. Actually seems quite decent. It is worth noting I haven't really been using my whetstone, so I suppose I've been doing reduced damage, technically. Tempting to buy ammo, given how good it is, but that seems like a waste of limited money. The helmet seems unique, but I'll hold off. As I said, do not buy equipment, you might just find it. Which is a bit of an odd way of doing it, isn't it? I mean, it's a very good helmet, though. It's much better than what I'm using. Oh, I'll buy it. But it is a little bit weird. Money is a limited resource. You can buy equipment, but you might just find that equipment later anyways. I feel as if the equipment you can purchase and the equipment you can find should be different equipment. That way you can justify the purchases, you know? That is quite a bit more resistance. I'd say that's worth it. The Slither Scale Pit. We did see a stake earlier.
Prey had found a whole nest of eggs. She was uninterested in who the owner might be. But the mother Slither Scale was very interested in her.
She doesn't sound terribly smart, does she? Ah, I stunned the snake, so it is possible. Alright, stun does seem good then, or electric seems good.
Side by side, Erica and Arlo forced the slither scale from its lair. Erica would not leave Frey to travel alone. They would see him back at the Parliament.
I'm sorry things have been rough for you. Why are we just standing here? I seem to have soft-locked here. Or something is expected of me. My inputs won't work aside from pausing. Well, good. Let me unfocus and refocus the game, just to make sure... Yes, okay, we soft-locked both games tonight. Isn't that lovely? Well, yes, different types of soft-locks, but soft-locks all the same. I don't know what happened there. I was half paying attention to the cutscene as I was reading messages as well. Very odd, yes. I'm back here, then. That's not what I meant to do, but oh well. That is not fortunate. I suppose I do, Chrysos.
Frey had found a whole nest of eggs. She was uninterested in who the owner might be, but the mother slither scale was very interested in her. Side by side, Erica and Arlo.
Let's try that
the
again,
slither
shall
scale
we?
from its lair. Erica would not leave Frey to travel alone. They would see.
There we
him back at
go.
the
Everybody
Parliament.
ran off properly this time. Not sure why they didn't before. Maybe I hit about an odd bug didn't think anyone would press. Perhaps I hit some sort of pause command at exactly the moment where where it caused an issue with the scripting. I wonder why it keeps giving me prompts of, oh, you picked up gold. It's like, yes, I have. You don't have to keep telling me what it is. Agreed, Vossen. I noticed that the first time you pick up an item, it gives you a description, but after that, subsequently, it doesn't give you a description following. Accept money, which is repeatedly telling me its description no matter what, which is strange. I wonder if that's a bug. Which way did everyone go? Oh, the well. That snake took a little too long to aggro, I'd say. Yes, a little too long to aggro. Ah, I see. There's a lair there and a lair there. And I wonder where we can fight that snake further. It did kind of run off. Actually, I don't think we've been in here. Well, it says we were in here before, but... Well, if you insist. I was right. Stick to a wall too long and you just fall. I suppose this is all a new area. Oop. Alright, I'm fine. Don't worry, the loading zone said I didn't fall. That's nice of it. The quest told me to go back surface side, but... Well, I just noticed there's more to do down here, so why not? I've been through here before, haven't I? Yes. We did a weird little loop. I say weird because there was new stuff to get. Kind of confusing. I do feel bad for the snake protecting the nest. Yes, I do wonder why that one owl wanted to get eggs. I guess also for the chef. I suppose you could... Oh, that's right. We can't make any more progress into whatever that is. Was that a skull? Did I pick one up? Apparently not the one I need. Hello, Emerald. Welcome. Well, given that, I suppose I found everything. Topside it is, then. Oh, I guess it does make sense that Arlo was a bit intimidated by the owls. While they're not hulkingly large or anything, owls do tend to find rats to be morsels to eat.
Yep.
Oh, they've come back. I feel as if the gun breaks the game in a few ways. There's poison. One moment. Alright. The ones you're traveling with aren't too large. Yes. Actually, they're rather small, given how large the rats tend to be, I believe. How does Redwall, I'm not too familiar with it, how does Redwall handle multiple creatures? Like, are they different sizes or not? What's this? Sure, why not? The bigger creatures are all different sizes. Are they more or less too realistic size, or in Redwall? Is captured. Your uncle got mad the gay people use the term babe. Say it's a straight person's word. Your uncle sounds like he's a few generations behind where he should be. And looking past the fact that that's mildly offensive, your uncle sounds like he needs to get out and touch grass, as they say. If that is really a concern that he has, come on now. If you notice here, I see. The house indicates, I see now. I thought there was an upper path to climb the tree. No, just indoors. I see, Emerald. Your punchline. Sorry, you said it too slowly. I'm a little faster.
Erica and Frey held wings as they asked Arlo and the elders for their blessing. They wanted to leave and start their own kitchen at Winter's Edge. All agreed. Arlo hoped slither scale eggs would not be on the menu.
Why not? Higher than the electric damage, by far, that poison. Slither Scale Shield. Why not? Okay, now we're starting to get into a new weight class. I'll turn that down. I already have a good helmet. One thing I'm confused about is, who is this person? The person with the book. They're also following me around, and I'm not sure why. But only when I'm in here.
Arlo was keen to head home, but an owl called Sigrid stopped him. As Chancellor, she had a budget for someone to deal with the local slither scale problem. If he wanted the job, he best join her in the Rangers Guild.
Ah, good, I'm a ranger now. Is that this building? Boss, infestation, and request. Okay. Ah, yes, there we are. Yes, I can take out the snake. I have a gun.
The owls called for Arlo's help. A ranger had gone to hunt a slither scale. He was seeking vengeance for a slither scale attack that took his family, but Arlo would not let the young ranger go the same way.
Alright, so we can go back to our original town, or we can do side quests now. And the quest is there. What is that icon? And there's a trading post in here, which... Ah! Let's see. Anything new? Bag of herbs. Request item. Sounds important enough to buy. That will do. I don't really know why you'd buy ammo here. There's an ammo replenishment barrel below. Hello.
Arlo had heard the sniffling of the heron leagues away. Ernest was the most skilled fisherman in the ratdom, or had been. In between sobs, he told Arlo he'd dropped his best rod in a well. The warden offered to find it, if only to stop the noise.
Oh, alright. Clear over there for the fishing rod. By the lake, it seems. And then... what are these? Are these fast travel points or something? I never bothered to try. It makes sense, though, wouldn't it? Let's try one. That does seem to be what it is. Oh, I have to build... I see. I have to build the fast travel points. Just wood and stone. And now they're constructed. Now they have signs on them. Your fishing rod, yes. Oh, I suppose I'm only supposed to come here when I have it. But where is his fishing rod? He dropped it in the well. Which I suppose means... Here's the well. Suppose I'll check down here. Where would it have ended up? Yes, it does seem that way. Did the first game have fast travel at all? I don't think it'd be back up here, but may as well check. No, doesn't seem. It is nice to see some fast travel. This does, after all, have some Metroidvania elements to it, so... it is a good idea. Well, I'm gonna keep checking down below the well, which means this way. It's limited fast travel, for sure. That's fine. Even a little bit is helpful. Ah, wasn't there a guy here before? Yes, there was a guy blocking this path. Perhaps the fisherman rod's over here. Or this is the way to the moles. Drinks. That's nice. Ah, the fishing rod.
A mole. He has been using the rod to dip his biscuits in honey, as he hated having sticky paws.
That seems like unnecessarily complicating the situation. But... I suppose he won't help us unless we find something else for them.
Have you ever thought about using your hand?
Well, they don't like having sticky paws, that's why they're not doing it. So we have to offer them an alternative that doesn't get their paws sticky.
Oh, there. Sticky power is part of the fun.
You can always lick them clean. Ah, yes. I suppose the next course of action is... Well, first off... Was it over here? Not quite. Where was that ammo barrel? Or did they move it away? I think they did. There was one right there so you could shoot the bell without running out of ammo, but it seems they moved it afterwards. How rude. Alright then, never mind. I won't replenish my ammo. Let's see if the heron has any ideas of what we can use instead of a fishing rod to get honey. That was an accidental fall. The heron's not helping. So I have to figure out the whole sticky paws thing myself. The mole did show a jar. Maybe if I gave him a jar, that would satisfy him? I guess if you have honey in a jar, you could pour it out more carefully or something. Or dip more easily. He had a pot, a large pot. I suppose a jar is a little more delicate. Request item. Glad I decided to check. He only had one thing to sell, but now he has another. I believe the request items are something for another side quest, so picking them up now, why not?
Arlo found the ranger was already locked in battle with the slither scale. He would not survive long fighting alone.
I think it might be good to switch back to shock. That seemed to work well last time. You can poison the snake, though, which is funny.
The young ranger was a fierce fighter, but no match for the slither scale. He barely thanked Arlo for helping him in this fight before he took off, seeking another.
Took off? Looks more like he's hobbling off injured, but alright. I suppose we'll be fighting back and forth for a bit. I begin to believe I'm correct. This seems to be a glitch. I don't believe it's meant to repeat the fact that money exists over and over again. It's quite the interruption each time, too. New attacks. That's awesome.
Arlo could not leave him to fight alone. There was no stopping him until the slither scale was defeated.
Fast travel to speed this up, I suppose. Actually, first, mole. Alright, no request items here.
The slither scale's lair. They would end its tyranny here and now.
I like that he's actually helping. This isn't ideal, there's still poison down. This snake is actually kind of a joke. Hits like a truck, though, if it hits you. It just has the misfortune of having far too large a hitbox for its own good. This game's some new attacks, at least. There we are, I guess. Oh, pretty good sphere. High poison. Why not? Scissor scale. I could have just bought that a moment ago. Again, a good reason not to, I suppose.
The slither scale was defeated at last. The young ranger took no spoils, and with only a brief hoot of thanks, he was gone. Arlo hoped the ranger's thirst for revenge was finally sated.
Well then. I'm beginning to think the game just really wanted to kick my ass with the bat boss. I realize I have the gun now, but even so, I did that fight without using it, and it was quite simple. I really feel like that was designed to just really rite of passage the player or something. I guess it did a good job demonstrating how another level the bats army is, though, didn't it? Not repeatable. Oh, the scissor scale is only active during the day. Interesting. The rewards are the same for the repeatable. Okay. First clutch of scissor scale eggs are found inside of Hollow Tree. Piece of golden flowers do not survive if the stakes multiply. Alright. And, oh, what's this? The death marches are growing in number. Good. Centipedes or millipedes? I can never quite tell. Looks centipede-ish. The snake was just protecting itself. Yes, but it does seem they eat the owls, too.
A slither scale nest was nearby with a fresh clutch of eggs. The nest had to be destroyed before they hatched and unleashed chaos. Too late. The nest was a writhing snare of slither scale. If any escaped, who knew how many would fall prey to them? Arlo would not let that happen. The blaze destroyed the last of the nest.
Oh good, another one.
Had no time to rest. The slither scale had returned.
Pretty impressive considering I lopped its head off, I believe. The whole returning thing. Good work. Let's see. Now we know how to deal with a snake. Yeah, it almost dealt with me all of a sudden, though. Gotta be careful. But also aggressive is good. And there we are again.
With the slither scale defeated, the forest settled into tranquility once more.
That's a good axe. And that bow is good, except for the fact it's not a gun. Fun fact in Redwall, every snake of the series has been the same type of snake, an adder. I assume you mean adder as in A-D-D-E-R, adder? Those are poisonous, I believe. Death March.
The Owl Rangers had been hunting all night, following the sounds of 1,000 tiny feet. This was a battle they did not wish to do alone. Arlo wondered how many they would be facing.
The quest marker's there, but what's this one? Curious. You know what they say about curiosity in the cat. But I'll check. Because of course I have to. Oh, the wall's out here now. That's a different bowl. Nice crossbow, too bad it's not a gun. I guess I could buy a bit of ammo. Not too much, though. And now the mark is gone. It was in this area, though. Strange. Did the previous game have such a strong resistances and weakness system? Or is that new to this game, by the way? Why did I loot? I didn't mean to press the button. Unfortunate. Yeah, I'll stay with the axe. Their weaknesses are my weakest weapons. They seem a bit confused now. How good. Hold on, mid-battle mining break. Alright, now I can fight you. Or we could transition the screen. Oh, that made them both come back again. It's strange how... There's this... I don't think the battle was meant to go down here. That seems to confuse them.
Yeah.
It feels as if the arena should be locking me into the area or something. Rude.
Go.
I still wonder why there was an icon here. It perhaps was a snake icon, and then it turned to night, and the snakes are not out at night. But that wasn't a quest, so that was the confusing part. I guess I'll go for the quest that is out there.
Centipedes. Northerners called them a death march. They would march no more when the Warden was done.
Yeah, quite fast, I'll give him that. That was a way to kill it. As it rolled at me.
The first nest was destroyed. As a way to pay for the keep, he relished the challenge, and almost wished there were more than one nest left.
Ah, there's the other one. One thing I'm noticing, by the way, is as I loot different things here and there, everything has an animation. And I would dare say that it's a bit much. I'm not sure if the first game had quite as much slowdown with animations, but I feel like it's a little bit tedious. I don't mind so much of the mining or the digging, but simply picking an item off the ground still takes a moment as well. I guess the game just doesn't want to have that fast a pace, which is fine, I suppose. But at some points I feel like it's a little too slow. If you tried to loot everything, back to back. Which I may as well. It does seem we need many materials. The last game, the game was about 70% over the time Reggie got a gun. Even if the guns in the game had a vastly limited ammo pool. More limited than 20 shots, or... Alright, have a nice day, I guess.
Arlo braced for an onslaught of tiny, deadly feet, but the second nest was empty. As he started to destroy the nest, he felt the fur on the back of his neck stand on end.
Well, that's half the health bar gone with the gun alone. This thing likes to leave a lot of poison.
Thank you.
I'm attempting to poison it back. It worked on the snake, even though it was poisonous.
Yeah.
Goodness. Alright, I need to switch weapons. I'm having one major issue. I don't mind the fact that some weapon elements are just going to be bad against some creatures. That's fine, that's acceptable. But the problem here I have is... I don't... Unlike many Souls-like, there's one thing many Souls-like have, and that is 2 weapon loadouts, where if you hit a specific button, you switch to the other loadout. There's none of that here. So if I run into an enemy, find myself doing very little damage, that means everything needs to stop for a second as I go through the menus and switch my weapons. I think this game desperately needs 2 loadouts. Hello, Linko.
Hi, Cherum.
Thank you for the
all.
sub.
That's quite way more damage.
You see, I can't just fight with a bad weapon. It's a big difference. Oh, goodness. Yeah, move it around a bit, are we?
Arlo understood now how one beast could feel like an army. He wondered if he would get a bonus for felling this giant as well.
If weaknesses and resistances added a small difference of damage, then it would be okay to keep using the same weapon, and not have to worry about pausing and switching. It means that if you plan to head correctly, then, yeah, you'll get a little extra bonus damage, it'll go a little faster. But the weaknesses and resistance here seem very strong. Perhaps too strong. If you are using a weapon the enemy resists, that is a gigantic difference compared to what it's weak to. Which means that you must switch to something that at least does neutral damage. I suppose this is the advantage of the non-elemental iron weapons. You can just do general damage to everything. But really, that seems like the most logical thing to do outside of having 2 loadouts. If you could have 2 loadouts, just being able to choose from 2 elements. Reminder, there seems to be at least 4. Poison, fire, ice, and electric so far. If I had 2 loadouts and I could choose 2 elements from that, that wouldn't be too bad. That's a large loss of fire, though. That barely seems any good, does it? I guess it's... No, it's not even lighter, it's heavier. There's a lot of equipment, but you have to really be mindful which one you're actually using. Maybe in a way, the other weapon slots are supposed to function like your second loadout. Perhaps so. There is indeed that whole section there. Yes, I suppose you're right. It's just a matter of when I unlock it. Until then, though, it's a bit tedious. By the way, my goal here is to end after I finish the side quests in this area. I do feel like that's just a little too tedious, some of the actions. I suppose it does bear the complaints one would have of the first game. It's not a game ender by any means, but... I suppose the game is very much in love with its animations. For good reason. A lot of them are quite nice. There we are. Request. Refill their stocks of prime clay. Clay brings all the bugs to the yard. Is that really the part we're going with? Alright, this is just turn it in and done. Simple enough. Hunt the Death March. The mother must be stopped. I guess that wasn't the mother we defeated. So sure, why not?
Despite destroying the nests, the sounds of hundreds of feet could still be heard in the Golden Forest. They had to be cleared out, and Arlo was quick to volunteer.
You know, there's one thing that I find a bit odd. At the very beginning of the game, the blacksmith had access to every tier. Now we see nothing but question marks. I find that odd. I don't know why... Why did they hide that information? If I can't craft it, I can't craft it. But it'd be nice to look and see what there might be available. Especially considering I'm right now highlighting over menus that have almost nothing to see in them to remove exclamation marks, which is a bit silly. Let's look at the guns. The owl gun, slightly more damage. Very slightly, but gimme. Ah, now that I think about it. I have nothing but... Ah, I see. Well, it'd be nice to have a fire weapon that isn't extremely weak. I can't actually craft one yet. Dull silver scale short sword. Just realizing something. Ah, the dull status is just... I understand now. Right then. So far, I think that electric is most effective. Hit the enemy quickly enough and suddenly they stun for a while. It seems quite effective. Right at the beginning. Yes, I'm shopping. Please shush. Thank you. Jacobone helmet. That seems quite good, actually. Aside from the lack of poison resistance. But I think general resistance is best. I can buy multiple? Why is that? For what reason would I have to buy multiple?
You grow a second head.
That would be unusual. Let's see. How does it look? A head on my head, I suppose. As far as I can tell, if I'm resisting fire, poison, or electric, I will get stunned less from those things. But that's really the main thing. They all kind of just stun you, and then you must press buttons. So I would wager simply protecting your general defense is #1 priority. Though I would not say that adding 2 resistance for 18 weight is worth it. Or losing 30 fire. This is fine. Also, I presume that I have a save point every time I rest on a bed or bench. So if I've just done something, I should probably rest again before going into the fight.
The giant death march was fast, but Arlo's trekking was faster. Just in time, as it had already found a victim.
Oh, fire army. That was unexpected. And off it runs.
Was grateful for the rescue. They had been collecting herbs at the ditch opposite the village when the death march attacked. It still had business there, it seemed.
Alright, I'll let you get back to your ditch herbs collection. Herbs are best from a ditch, I guess.
Just casually looking to the forest on fire in the background. Yep, back to work.
There, not only that, forest on fire in the background, and I guess I'll sweep. I guess I'll sweep. Yeah. Sweep up all this messy, dirty fire. Oh, honey! Well, here we go. I've solved the issue now. And beehives. Alright. It seems worth revisiting shops now and then. Sometimes they have new stuff. But also, yes, that's what I need to give to the... Oh. Wood logs and wood planks for a price. Sure, why not? The shopping thing's a bit tricky, though. You have to wander around back to shops later and see if they have anything new for you, basically. But that does mean that I can now go down here. I think what would be nice is if all these animations were picking up things. If I could speed them up or skip them. Let them be. They can exist, but give me a way to press a button and just hurry through them. After all, unless you're insane or actually hit a button like I have, you're not going to be using these functions in the middle of combat, when time is maybe of the essence. These are actions you pursue when you're not fighting, so there's really no reason for them to take forever. There, have a jar of honey.
Once Arlo assured him the heron wouldn't prefer to use dynamite for fishing, as was the mole's custom, he agreed to trade it.
No, we prefer our fish whole and not in bits. He also randomly threw in some electrical cables. That's nice. And other things. And armor. This person really wanted a jar of honey. He's giving me everything. Very high resistance. It would just bring me to weight medium. I suppose. No for that, though. Yes, I do roll a bit heavier now. But I bet you I could simply remove or reduce something and save the weight. Let's see. 35 protection lost. Gain 10 electric and 1 resistance. Why not? Alright, they're done here.
The heron cast his line around in delight, offering the best prices in the ratdom and the most delicious fish. Ernest was back in business.
If he's in business, why is he not a shopkeeper? Well, whatever. I guess it's a metaphorical term. Honestly, I thought there would be a fishy minigame after I did that, but alright. I agree it's nice to shop's update, but now that doesn't mean that anytime I'm passing a shopkeeper again, I gotta neurotically check their shop stock to see if there's anything new. Oh well. That was new. That was dangerous. This feels like the sort of enemy that you want to keep close to. That was sod healing. Thing's not giving me the time. There. That moment when your centipede became a Pokemon. Cinescourge. Very Cinescourge of it, yes. That's why it felt familiar. Ah, almost forgot. There.
Death March had made its nest here. When the villager disturbed it, the giant creature chased them away in fear for their young.
How did none of those strikes hit? What? At least this doesn't have projectiles. Whoa, I was in an execution animation, my goodness. I can barely stay on top of it. I can barely hit it, for that matter. There. What a dodgy little fuck.
Nice.
I guess that's the centipedes for you. Thank you, Chrysos. A blueprint for their weapons and armors. Okay. That ice resistance could be used for later.
This army was defeated, and Arlo was surprised to feel a small pang of regret. The creature had only wished to protect its nest.
Well, same with the snake, really. It seems, though, that if these creatures established their nest, that would kind of destroy the civilization here. I wonder, where is the place that I could... Ah, here we are. Right now, there's an icon over here. I'm going to rush over. Oh, what are you? An electric. 2 damage! 2 damage of my electric weapon. Hold on a moment. What might they be weak to? Well, let's see. We got a bestiary enter, yes? Electric is weak to poison or fire. Poison. Ah! Poison it is! I forgot. I did not mean to pause there. Let's see. Let's do short sword, because that generally feels the safest. Oh, I'm heavy rolling. I better be careful. It ran off and went down there. Interesting. This wasn't even a quest, it's just... Here it is. Curious. Random bosses is an interesting concept, I don't mind it. Oh my! What side of the arena are we going to be staying on, Mr. 17? You know what this reminds me of, right? Especially with this random boss just there. And then all the running away that these bosses like to do. This is Monster Hunter. This is Monster Hunter. This is what we're doing. Bugger. I wanted to be on the side of Leap too, but I didn't want to be in its leap. There! Electric tail. A little more dynamic, yes. And I believe at daytime, there's another icon. Yes, that icon right there. Well then. No time like the present, I suppose. There's another boss over here.
What we're feeling the juice.
Yes, for sure there's one right here. I think they're limited by time, so I have to hunt them quickly, too. Right. So it's another scorpion, or another centipede. Alright. And the... This was the fire version, yes? So... No, it was resistant to electric. So it was the... Giant Death March Poison. Right. Giant Death March Poison. Poison Death March. Strengths Poison Ice, weak to fire, weak to electric. Oh, I'm using poison? I forgot. If only I had 2 weapon sets. That makes more sense. I do like how each centipede has slightly varied attacks. Not just different elements, but different attacks, too. The fast travel points are basically necessary for this. So it is good to lock them. I wonder if these bosses keep respawning or not. I asked that because there were repeatables for a lot of these fights, so... The electric one was a new one. This is not a new enemy, though. Alright, forgot about that move. Oh, good. That was a good time to get stunned by poison. The perfect dodges. You know what? Alright, let's see. And topside. I must say, quite a bit to do in just one area. Would you stop spitting? What the hell? Over and over again. These creatures more or less have attack patterns or an ebb and flow to how they like to fight, but occasionally they just decide, you know what, one attack over and over again.
Yep. Now we're getting to nighttime again.
Did a full day loop. And there's another one. I wonder if I can tell what it is when I see it like that. I'm intrigued to engage them since I did find a unique one, after all. One not mentioned in any of the others. I will poke over. If it's one I've already fought, I'm not going to fight it again, though. Ice! No, that's new. Ah, its flag was blue. That explains it. So elemental variations of enemies. Which also change their attacks. That's interesting. Ah, a little combo. Every centipede's a bit different. I have to be mindful. Even it looks like they're doing the same thing, that might trip me up. They're very dodgy, I think. It's like we're playing tag, really. That was odd. Did you see that?
You broke their tail.
There it is. That's interesting. I don't believe I remember dismembering any of these in the middle of fighting them. I wonder what that will do for the rest of the fight. They pushed me to the corner. That was very surprising. It did not hurt me, though. That wasn't very hard. I don't suppose they got any stronger after I kept their tail off, though. There we are. And now there's another fire one. So I see how this works. The color indicates the element. Fire for red, ice for blue, electric is yellow, and I assume if there's a gray or no color it'd be normal. And purple for poison. The image on this little icon indicates what it is. In this case, centipede. I wonder if it's nothing but centipedes or if we can find elemental snakes as well. I'm wondering. Nonetheless, that is a centipede, so I am done. A fire centipede, so we fought that before. Well, it is nice to know that you can just fight bosses if you feel like it. That's kind of fun. I mean, you get rewards out of it. It's not to waste. Ah, there is a snake. Well then. Assuming it doesn't disappear on me.
Snaky face.
I think it just showed up. Yeah, snaky face with brown, which means normal snake, I think. That's fine. How would an elemental snake fight? I hope those exist. That would be interesting. Again, I like how they did this. It isn't just the same exact thing, but now it's doing a different element of damage. They do share a lot of attacks, but there are differences, a few. For each of their phases. Ah, they can't hit me if I'm not careful. Noted. And just back where he came. He's not very creative. Just going back and forth between two spots. I note, though, it's actually healing on the enemies in each area. Not to full, but it is recovering part of its health each time. There's always another one to replace the last. Given that that is another non-elemental snake, I'm going to assume the snakes do not have elements. That's part of the reason I killed this snake, was to simply see if another snake spawned. And if so, did it have an element? Nope.
Yep.
It's possible that the snakes maybe have elements and I'm getting unlucky, but I think the first time I saw the snake that I didn't get because it left before I could, that was also a brown picture, so. Alright. Well, there we are, and you can repeat. Ah! You can also repeat fighting things that you have encountered while out and exploring. The electric pincer and ice pincer were ones I found just randomly. Now they're in the repeatable list because I beat them. That's good. Ah. I suppose that means that the pincers do not have a non-elemental version, while the snakes have only a non-elemental version. That makes sense, I suppose. Look at the list we have here. We have a non-elemental, a poison, a fire, an electric, and an ice boss to pursue. That seems pretty... That's probably all of them. Because it's a nice, even spread. Alright, I think we're done here. Slither scale, what's this? The death march has an interesting thing going on here. It seems it can split into one of 4 options after the second upgrade. Alright. That's intriguing. But it'd be nice to know what that goes towards before I start building that way. Happy with my current loadout. Let's go ahead and return to base, I suppose. And then we'll conclude things. I do appreciate that the loading bar changes depending on the situation and context, such as the ship there. After spending so long in the forest, our location seems even more bleak by comparison. But I suppose we'll be fixing it up. I like how these 2 chefs were recruited, came here, and are probably like, how are you going to do any cooking here? This place is a complete joke.
Yeah.
Like, look at them drinking at the broken table. Ah, the other item I got. Let me turn that in. And I suppose, I guess I'll start the next quest, but stop after that. Leaf has suggested a master smith for the keep, but only if Arlo can find them if he heads into the dangerous rift.
Rebuilt walls would not keep Winter's Edge safe alone. They needed weapons and armor, but had no smith. Leaf knew of a master crafter living in the rift. If Arlo was of an open mind.
An open mind. I wonder what to. The stinking bogs of the rift belie its glorified blood-soaked history. Sinking ruins are all now that remains of the once great Frog Empire that ruled from this, their ancestral home. Ah, you know what? Was that the final area of the game, of the first game? I think it might have been. I believe the first game ended by going to the Frog's territory after they evaded yours. And you went to their bogs, defeated them. I believe that's literally their territory at the end of the game. But it sounds like sinking ruins are all the remains of the once great Frog Empire. This game most certainly takes place in the future compared to the first game. Because in the first game, there was a great Frog Empire, and they nearly decimated everything. And you as the main character beat them all back and defeated their boss. And I guess what resulted is a sinking ruin of an empire now. Interesting.
So by open mind, they mean, are we recruiting a frog?
Perhaps we're recruiting a frog. That would make some amount of sense. Yes, we still saw frogs as a threat in the forest, but they're just random
Arlo
bandits
had
and
heard
such
the
now,
tales
I
of
suppose.
battles that scarred the rift at his father's knee. He wondered how much of the stories could be true.
That is quite interesting, though. Isn't that a trope with a name of some sort? When you have a game and the final area is a climactic showdown somewhere in some location, and then you have the sequel revisit that location, but it's a shadow of its former self and not the final area anymore. There's a trope name for that, but I don't know what it
home
is.
to the pond scum.
I had no idea
Had
either.
seen endless war between rats, bats, and frogs. Even the river refused to pass through it now. Its muddy bed was grave to beasts and boats alike.
I will be stopping here, but I think this game is worth playing further. It does seem to be more of the same compared to the first game, I would say. By no means do I say that as a complaint, necessarily, but there are a few little things the first game maybe could have done better, such as the speed of animations that are repetitive and such. But this game does nothing different to solve or refine or improve on. That being said, the first game didn't need to improve a whole lot. But there's little things here and there I think this game could have improved over it that, as far as I remember, because it has been 2 years since Charm played the first game. As far as I remember, this does feel like... well, this practically feels like a DLC or an expansion. If you're hoping that the sequel were to change or greatly expand on systems of the first game, I think there's some mechanical expansion here with the elements, so I'm not entirely sure if that's a good thing or not right now. Because the equipment switching is, in my opinion, the most boring part, or the most pace-breaking part of this. If I'm in the middle of starting to fight something, see I'm doing they're resisting my attacks, I absolutely must pause and switch. Now, perhaps this would be improved once we unlock the other weapon slot, which I believe is just basically another weapon, a heavier weapon, a two-handed, I believe? The two-handed weapon having a different element than the one-handed weapon could perhaps solve this issue. But until then, it's a bit tedious to switch your single one-handed weapon. And your ranged weapon can have its own element, of course, but it doesn't really count when it's limited ammo. But I do think this is quite good and quite enjoyable. If you'll all appreciate the idea, I wouldn't mind to play this further. Poker roll is tomorrow, as it is a Wednesday. I suppose I could play this more on Friday if there's interest. That is the question, though. Is there interest? The chat was quite quiet. Besides a few people who very much loved watching this, I'm sure Vossen would absolutely appreciate a full playthrough of this, yes? I suppose even if it's just for 1 or 2 people, if there are just a handful hyped to see the whole thing, we could see the whole thing through. It does feel rather fitting, considering the Charm did stream the whole of the first game. That took 3 streams in total. I wonder if this game will also take about as long. I'm not sure. I wonder if it's a bigger game. We'll find out, I suppose. I don't suspect it'll be too long, though, regardless. Well, Vossen, even if you're the only one truly super interested, though I imagine Krisov's is a little bit, otherwise he probably would have stuck around. Even if it's just for a passionate handful of people, it might be worth... I think it's worth still streaming through this. I enjoy your company. And that goes for the rest of you, too. Though, it would be nice to see... Perhaps if this game were to start the stream, because we didn't start with this game on the stream today. If we started the next Tales of Iron stream with just it being the entire stream dedicated to this, perhaps we'll gather a few more people for it, especially if I put a custom image up for the announcement showing this game and the rats and such. I'm sure this will garner some new viewers next time with that sort of focus. So, yes, part 2 of this will come either on Friday or Sunday, depending on how I feel, because I realize Abiotic Factor is now taking a break too. We'll see how I feel.
Yep.
Streaming takes a lot more out of me than it does Tucker. It's actually rather fitting. Tucker and Charm both stream a little bit more extensively without too much energy loss. I seem to drain a little faster, but that makes sense because canines have more stamina than felines do, after all. We can go faster, but not for as long, typically. But This is actually probably my longest stream so far, actually, it looks like. This was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed Tales of Iron 2. I would say that if you enjoyed the first game, this is a very safe bet, if you want to pick this one up for yourself. There's a few little systems I would say I would personally adjust, probably from both games. Let's see what the reviews on Steam look like, I'm a little curious. Mostly positive, 855 reviews. It's been out for about a month. It certainly has gotten some attention. That's a good number of reviews. Let's see here. I think I'll do a video outro now, but stick around for after that if you'd like to see me look at the review section a bit. I'm going to browse it a bit. But I'm going to conclude the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this Howler for an Hour Tales of Iron 2, as well as it being a part 1 officially. I'll come back to this soon enough. I hope you all are well. I hope you enjoyed. See you. Tucker will see you for Pokero tomorrow. Yeah.
Please.